Welcome, and it's another daily reading from the Psalms, and today we're going to be reading from Psalm 24. So why don't we start by reading that together? The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. For he founded it on the seas and established it on the waters. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and pure heart, who does not trust in idols or swear by a false god. They will receive blessing from the Lord and vindication from God their Saviour. Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face, God of Jacob. Lift up your heads, you gates. Be lifted up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, you gates. Lift them up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is he, this King of glory? The Lord Almighty. He is the King of glory. It's a great, what's called a processional psalm, talking about the people gathering and going on their way up to Jerusalem. Many people think it was probably written at the time by David when the ark was taken from Obed-Edom up to Jerusalem. And we can read about that in 2 Samuel 6, and probably the most well-known part of that story is as the ark was taken up to Jerusalem, David in celebration danced before the Lord. It's a psalm now that's often by some denominations used at Ascension when they talk about the Lord ascending, but to my mind it talks more about he's coming than he's going. The picture is of this psalm has three things. It has the first two verses about God as creator, and then the next two verses as God as holy, and then the last few as God as victorious. We've seen already those first two verses, God and creator. Well, we looked at Psalm 19 where it said the heavens declare the glory of God, and we looked at creator then. And then the next couple of verses about God being holy, they're very, very similar, almost identical to Psalm 15 where he saw who may ascend the hill of the Lord. This says the mountain of the Lord, but very similar idea of God's holiness. And then we end the psalm with that victorious thing. The picture is this. It's the procession is approaching the city gates, and they call out, let us in. And the cry comes back, who are you? And they say, it's the Lord, the King. And then they say, so let us in. And there's one more, they say once more, but who are you? And they say, it is the King, the Almighty, the one who is victorious. And the gates open and they process into the city, and there's great celebration. David danced before the Lord, there's music, there's song. It's a fantastic time of praise and worship. Now, I once went to a church service. I was running late, not the church, not Willstone, but another congregation before I was a minister. And I arrived at the church, and the secretary was on the door, and I gave my apology, saying, sorry I'm late. And his response was, oh, don't worry, we haven't got to the sermon, we're just singing a few songs. Don't let worship ever be just singing a few songs. It is praise, it is proclamation, it's exclaiming the glories of God, it's worship. And that's what happens here. And that's what we do when we sing. We don't just sing Christian songs. We worship, we celebrate, we give praise to the King of Kings. Who is this King of Kings? The Lord Almighty. He is the King of Glory.